An alert about those online pharmacies. 1 in 6 Americans buys medication online without a prescription. And the FDA, I should say, is warning the vast majority, 97% of those online pharmacies are not legal. Some even selling counterfeit drugs that may be dangerous, even deadly. Here's ABC's Jim Avila now.
It's a moving target of as many as 40,000 active online pharmacies, a huge majority of them fly-by-night startups that the FDA warned today sell at a cut-rate price but deliver expired, contaminated, and fake drugs that could harm the consumer.
You have no assurance of the safety, efficacy, or quality of those products.
How easy is it to set up an online pharmacy? 2 UC San Diego medical researchers showed me how they set up their own fake drugstore using search engines Facebook and Twitter to draw potential buyers. So do you have to have a pharmaceutical degree to set up one of these websites?
Oh, not at all. We basically created a web ad, which is very descriptive. It has a medical professional, a picture of a person that we just purchased, and we were able to post it online without any verification requirements at all.
It's so easy. Setting up a hit-and-run pharmacy is lightning fast to start and even faster to disappear before authorities can catch up.
The bad guys know when they're getting chased. So they just shut down in a minute, and then literally within another hour, they set themselves right back up again.
There are some legitimate online pharmacies, about 2%, says the Alliance for Safe Online Pharmacies. How can you tell? Watch out for sites that allow you to buy drugs without a prescription, offer deep discounts that seem too good to be true, send unsolicited emails offering cheap drugs, and are located outside of the U.S., beyond the reach of regulators.
The important messages are: have a prescription, know your online pharmacy, make sure that it's safe, and take your medicines as directed.
The danger is fakes can not only sicken or kill outright, they can cause a resistance to real medicine or carry hidden side effects. It's dangerous stuff.
Chinese officials say they've broken up an international smuggling ring trading in counterfeit drugs. Chinese state television broadcast footage of a seizure of the drugs, which they say had been destined for America and Britain. One American and 11 Chinese were arrested on charges of producing 440,000 pills of fake Viagra worth nearly $5 million. The fake drugs, made in factories in Tianjin and Henan province, have been sold in at least 11 countries via the internet. England
from China. Now, prescription medicines are under the microscope.
We've learned that millions of Chinese counterfeit pills made their way to Houston, some destined for local pharmacies. And tonight, undercover agents tell us what is really inside those pills. KPRC Local 2 investigative reporter Stephen Dean discovers why this may be just the beginning of the Chinese drug danger in Houston.
Start with piles of pills in a Southwest Houston storage unit, add in hundreds of thousands hidden in a shipment headed to the port of Houston, and end with an East Side pharmacy ready to sell. It's the recipe for Houston's new drug war, where imported prescription pills are fake, dangerous, and you may never even know you took them.
This is such a dangerous circumstance. This is actually supposed.
The drugs are counterfeit pharmaceuticals from China. And Local 2 investigates found in case after case those Chinese drugs are coming to Houston.
But these drugs certainly were not legitimate drugs.
Pharmacist James George did own this pharmacy off I-10 in Jacinto City. That's until an undercover Houston task force of Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents plus FDA investigators tracked George as he bought counterfeit Viagra pills from China. The pills looked real. The packaging did too, except for a few misspellings. The plan, customers wouldn't know the difference.
In order to affect the business prices, we the price for a tablet of Viagra with 3 pills.
But federal prosecutor Sam Lewis says the legit price is around $10 a pill, meaning big profits for George and big dangers for anyone taking the pill.
You might get something that has the active ingredient of the drug. You might get something that has none of the active ingredients. You might receive something that has 100% of the active ingredients.
That's scary enough, but when the Houston task force traveled to China investigating a different internet pill supplier, this is the so-called pill factory they found. A filthy apartment full of extra ingredients used to make all the drugs.
You might have content, you might have distance, you might have the actual coloring of the something that's used as paint. So those stories, when mixed with the active ingredients, could have a dramatic enhancement effect.
A judge sent James George to federal prison, but he's not the only one in Houston caught bringing the fake Chinese pills to town. Just last week, Amy Alrud left Houston federal court headed to prison. She pleaded guilty to helping arrange a shipment of more than 800,000 counterfeit Viagra pills from China to the port of Houston. Street value around $8 million. Undercover agents caught her as she inspected this carton of 100,000 pills. with $30,000 in a shoebox to pay for it. And inside this Southwest Houston storage unit, two business partners had stashed thousands of bottles of fake Viagra and Cialis pills, hoping to sell them at a Harlan accessory store. They were caught before any unsuspecting customers could buy the fake pills.
And that's what we're trying to make sure those counterfeit drugs do not get in the legitimate supply chain.
But now we've learned of a new worry. The Chinese market will change from drugs like Viagra and Cialis to other prescriptions like flu drugs, even cancer medicine.
From what we can tell, that they have the capacity and ability to counterfeit a whole array of prescription drugs. And so that is a serious.
Federal agents have caught shipments coming in, but what about the phony pills getting through? Investigators say the biggest danger of swallowing these fake medicines is when you buy from bargain internet pharmacies. If the drugs make it into licensed pharmacies, it may be impossible to tell. The U.S. Attorney's Office is prosecuting another counterfeit case right now, scheduled for trial in a few weeks. Stephen Dean, KPRC Local 2.
And there's more tomorrow on our KPRC Local 2 at 6:50 a.m.
It may look like just another mobile meth lab bust in Tennessee, but that's a pill press with tablets about to be cut up. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says pill mills like this are allowing drug dealers to produce thousands of counterfeit pills an hour. Their customers, those already addicted to prescription painkillers.
Literally any pill that is a drug of choice on the street, there are the counterfeit making mechanisms to produce pills that resemble people's drug of choice.
Here's a look at some of the confiscated pills. The yellow one on the left is real Percocet, and the one on the right, a counterfeit. The blue round pill on the left is 30 milligrams of oxycodone, and the one on the right, the fake.
The shape, the color, the texture, the size, they all look very legitimate.
The dangerous difference, though, these counterfeit pills are laced with fentanyl, a synthetic drug at least 50 to 100 times more deadly than legitimate opioids.
So you have someone who is addicted and used to using a certain level of opioid. Well, they get one of these substances containing fentanyl that contains too much, and before you know it, one pill or even a fraction of a pill, few particles of a pill can cause them to overdose.
In 2013, the TBI's crime lab processed just 12 test samples of fentanyl. Last year, that number jumped to 453, with more than 50 processed right here in Memphis. Just one sample of fentanyl could be a quantity as large as this.
So basically what you're doing is you're getting powder form fentanyl from being produced in labs in China and Mexico, brought up through traditional drug trafficking means. You take that powder form, mix it with some cutting agents to kind of dilute it down because it is very deadly and potent.
Deaths from fentanyl are up across the country and here in the Mid-South. The most recent numbers from the Tennessee Department of Health show deaths from drug overdoses up 12%, while drug overdose deaths related to fentanyl are up 74%. In 2016, nearly 300 of the 1,600 overdose deaths in Tennessee were blamed on fentanyl. Doctors say fentanyl is only used for chronic pain, and even a normal dose can cause someone to go into respiratory arrest.
You think you may just, go into a coma and pass on, but that's not necessarily so. A lot of these patients, they'll turn blue, their fingertips will turn blue, their lips, and they have a full circulatory collapse, and then they literally can smother to death.
Last summer, 4 people died and dozens more were hospitalized in Georgia after overdosing on fake Percocet. In Tennessee, an opioid task force has recommended hiring more TBI agents. Until then, the TBI says it's doing what it can to shut down these illegal pill mills and has this message for drug users.
You are taking more of a risk now than ever. We urge you to seek help.
The TBI says those making and selling the fake pills don't care. To them, it's just a casualty of the business.
Angela. Welcome back to Live at 9. So glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
We were talking during the break. Is Memphis really, when you hear those words, you do get excited, but is it really one of the best places where people can actually find jobs?
It is a great market to look for a job. You know, I always recommend that folks look at these mid-sized markets because very often we think of cities like LA and New York as being the place to be.
We've been negotiating over the internet and the phone for 11 months, and now we're in China to find out how hard it would be to ship counterfeit pills into the United States. Pills that could end up in your neighborhood pharmacy.
The Chinese government frowns on investigative reporting, but we went anyway with our hidden cameras rolling.
Hello, sir. Do you like a watch?
It's a country famous for knockoffs.
Rolex?
You like I give it cheaper.
But on this trip, we're not looking for fake Gucci or Rolex.
Sherry, how are you? Lovely to see you.
Okay.
She may not look the part, but this young woman says she's the chief salesperson for one of the biggest counterfeit pharmaceutical operations in China.
Did you fly in?
We meet her and her assistant in the lobby of a modern Chinese hotel. Remember, Sherry Wong doesn't know I'm a reporter. She thinks I'm a businessman interested in buying fake medicine.
I like your hair, Sherry.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
After some small talk,
Hi, guys.
we move to a private suite where we can talk serious business. We've wired the room with 5 different hidden cameras.
The quality on the test shipment was extraordinary.
To remove any doubt about who made such high-quality counterfeits, we ask her directly.
But you actually make it, right? Your company actually does.
Yeah, our factory made it.
Yeah.
Sherry Wong says her company makes better counterfeits than other Chinese companies. Fake medicine's good enough to sell to distributors all over the world.
You got Britain, Italy,
Yeah.
Australia,
France,
Japan, France,
America.
and America.
And take one guess where she sells the most.
Out of all those, America is the biggest purchaser.
Yes.
Since the fake pills don't have to have real medicine in them and don't have to pass safety tests, they're cheap to make. Sherry's charging us $1 a pill instead of $8, the regular wholesale price for the real medicine. But since her pills look good enough to pass for the real thing, we can sell them at a huge profit.
Our company was very, very busy.
So just how large is her counterfeiting operation? To find out, we ask how many pills she could smuggle into the United States undetected. The numbers are even bigger than we imagined.
How much do you think we can ship?
One time?
Yeah, at a time.
I think the biggest quantity is, I think, with better 6,000.
6,000?
Yeah.
In one shipment?
Yeah.
And how many shipments per month do you think we could do?
Every week, 6 times. Every day, 1 time.
So we could do 6,000 a day?
Yeah.
She says she'll do it with packages like these, using popular commercial shippers. In order to avoid detection, the fake pills come in small packets, just like the ones Sherry sent to us. They're heavily bubble-wrapped and taped, with the bottles and the fake labels shipped separately. But now, instead of 1,000 pills, she's telling us how she can smuggle 6,000 pills a day. That's 1.5 million pills a year.
It would not be a problem then to do 6,000 a day, 5 days a week, 30,000 pills a week. So that's, 120,000 pills a month.
You can do it?
Well, we're getting very close on our end. If you can do it, we can do it.
Okay.
If we finalize the deal at retail prices in the United States, a year's shipment of counterfeit pills would be worth $10 million.
I mean, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But during our meeting, we discover something else. Sherry's company isn't stopping at Viagra. She tells us they're working on more fakes, including the cholesterol drug Crestor, the prescription cream Vanica, and the weight loss drug Zenical.
So in other words, you can make the raw material for all this, Crestor, Vanica, Tommy Dux, and Zenical.
Yeah.
But not finished product yet.
Yeah.
In the future, you think you can do finished product, though?
In the future, I think we can do the finished goods.
But just when we thought we'd heard it all, Sherry Wong tells us something else we'd never imagined.
We would be selling these to stores, to drugstores, so we need to make sure that the packaging is the same as Pfizer's. For instance, if Pfizer changes the packaging, do you know, so you can change as well?
Our lab in America,
Right.
they always give us the newest information.
Could that be true? The counterfeiters have a lab in America? We wanted to find out more, so to keep our conversation going, we promised to keep working on our multi-million-dollar deal.
Let's do it.
We shake hands and have a meal to celebrate.
Cheers.
Coming up, the medicine used as the best defense against bird flu. Are criminals faking that drug too?
A recall this week of expired birth control pills sold by Shoppers Drug Mart is prompting questions about the way all pharmacies keep track of their drugs. And as the CBC's Stephanie Matisse discovered, the problem goes far beyond one medication sold in one store.
Aisles and aisles of product looking for the right one. Now you might want to take a closer look. Shoppers Drug Mart dispensed expired birth control pills in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC. This is one of more than 24 stores in Alberta where customers filled prescriptions for a less 21 mid-March to early April. In all, about 100 customers were given medication that expired in September 2014. The store learned of the mistake through a customer. When the pharmacists had a hard time getting in touch with patients in Alberta, the company went public.
The pharmacist did not check the expiry date on those specific products that went out. It is part of the regular process for all pharmacists to check expiry dates on their medication.
And that's the policy across the country for drugstores. Shoppers Drug Mart says the problem originated at this distribution center in Alberta, and that it was human error, something as simple as a typo, prompting an internal review and a Health Canada recall.
And its expiry is October 2014.
At the Institute for Safe Medication Practices, Julie Greenall thinks an expiry date should be linked to a product's barcode, but pharmacists still need to perform manual checks.
We still do need to be checking those things. We still need to make sure we have the right drug in our hand, that the expiry date is correct, and so on. I think that as we move to electronic systems, that we do have an increasing reliance on those electronic systems.
After hearing of the issue with the prescription LS, a CBC viewer sent these photos of expired allergy medication on the shelf in a Shoppers Drug Mart in Richmond, BC. Then we checked that store and a dozen others, Pharma Plus, Guardian, and Shoppers in Toronto. A diabetic nutritional supplement, This supplement that says it helps glucose levels and metabolism, allergy medication, and a sleep aid, all expired.
With most expired medications, there's no danger, but there are questions about whether or not they're still effective, and that varies from pill to pill. Though the manufacturers are clear, they don't want anyone taking expired drugs ever. Stephanie Matisse, CBC News, Toronto.